I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Back here from Texas Tech Media Day, presented by Accurate Air. Our coverage presented by Accurate Air. Here on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Chois Woodman, Chris Snead here with you from, well, the doorstep of the football field. We're not quite on the field, but
you're on the field.
You count that as field?
Oh,
There's turf.
Actually, that's the limit line is right there, so this is actually dead ball territory.
We're in dead ball territory, Snead.
Yeah,
you
I'm
should
aware.
know that
I'm
as
aware,
an official.
so,
Come on, man.
That's the limit line. You, as a fan, have to stand behind that line.
You people. What do you mean, you people?
You people that stand behind that line.
I didn't know. I learned something today as we're walking by the goalposts that are raised and lowered with hydraulics. Apparently, you have to check the oil level of your goalpost, just like your car. So
well, I mean,
there's that. Didn't know that was a thing. And thanks, Aggies.
Well, it's not thanks, Aggies.
Oh,
it was us
against the Aggies.
I mean, we can
Thanks
use the
for
Aggies.
Letting us beat you.
I mean,
I was okay with that.
12-0 game.
That was a fun game.
That was a fun game.
Then there was some Aggie on Aggie violence after that game.
I love that. I love that. The fact that the guy that did that didn't realize he was hitting another Aggie. I question why the Aggie was climbing up into the stands like that.
I couldn't get myself into the mindset of an Aggie, so I couldn't tell you. There's that. Let's go to the Yates Flooring Center chat line. The drive from Lubbock to El Paso sucks. That's from Center in Lubbock.
It does, and I made that many times growing up, coming to and from school, and I broken down out there.
Yep.
I broke down in front of that 69 miles to Lubbock to El Paso sign.
That sounds terrible.
It was terrible, and
someone asks, is that guy mowing the field turf?
No, he is grooming the field turf.
We got one that's I think a blower, and one that's the groomer.
It's a groomer of the So basically, if you know anything about turf, you put it down. If you want to maintain it and keep it extend its life, you have to groom it, which basically means you drag it and you water it. And you say, why do you water the field turf? Well, that's to settle down the pellets in it. Yeah. And the more you water it, it settles the pellets down and it keeps the field even because those pellets move, and they don't just snap back to where they were. You kind of have to groom the turf, which is what he's doing.
Yeah. So they're not mowers on the turf.
Yeah.
Unless you're wanting really fast turf, then they might do it. Guys, we're winning the Big 12 and the playoffs. Drop the microphone, close the door, end of story, period. Okay.
All he needed is full stop. I have resigned myself to the fact that Texas Tech's playing in Arlington on – And am I going to be upset if they don't? Only if they underachieve to the point where they're a 9-3, 8-4 type of team. Because this is a team that's built to win double-digit games and be in the conversation to be in Arlington on December 2nd. Yeah. Full stop.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
And you're in a conference that allows you. Arizona State wasn't super special. You saw them because they got their butts kicked on this field right here in week 3.
Yeah.
So we know that team. Well, week 4, but we know that that it can be done from any spot in the preseason rankings.
Yeah, it can. But I do think this is one of those years that it will go more like we think. I think there are I don't know. There's teams I don't believe in at the top. And I do think there's people that are cautious with Texas Tech, and I don't blame them for being cautious with Texas Tech because you've never been there before.
I think everyone is, Brett McMurphy caught a lot of grief because he believed 2 years ago in Texas Tech and got burned by that. And I think people are now cautious, to jump out and get on the Texas Tech bandwagon. And there's a little bit of show me. And, you got a little bit of early hype and you spit the bit.
Look, you have not been ranked in the college football playoff era by the college football
Nope,
playoff.
You sure have not.
You're one of a few Power 4 teams that can say that, and that's not a good category to be in.
Yeah.
And I think you've gone all in to not just rectify that, but also get you – look, you knock down walls every year under Joey McGuire.
Yeah.
You've knocked down, hey, first winning Big 12 season since Mike Leach.
Boom.
Okay, go again. First back-to-back winning Big 12 seasons and first 3 straight bowl game wins.
Yeah.
It's first after first that you keep doing these things that you haven't done since the Leach era. And now it's time to do things that Leach never did. It's time to do things that Leach never did because you're going to attempt to play in Arlington.
Yeah, let's do that.
And you're going to try to have a 10-win regular season, which Leach only did one time.
Yep.
And these are all things that you and your donors and Cody Campbell and everybody have just said, we're going for this.
Put all the chips in the middle, and let's see what happens.
I can't say I blame people in the media or people, the talking heads elsewhere outside of Lubbock that are saying, I think this is going to be a good team, but I can't say they're going to be one that's in Arlington. Because, again, it's another wall that's got to tumble down.
Well, yeah, and you haven't given them any reasons to assuage their predictions. You've pretty much shown them every time. Even when you have your best teams, you're not going to get to that level.
Yeah. This says, I think with the news that the collectives are still going to go on as before versus everyone at $20.5 million, I think it takes a little pressure off. I still think Big 12 champ game or bust, but not college football game or bust. I think this can be a springboard season versus make or break it to the college football playoff like it felt when it looked like revenue sharing would be the primary spending for all schools.
Yeah, I think this is a team that's I agree with this texture. It's a championship game or bust. It's not playoff game or bust.
Yeah, and I think that's when we've asked Joey McGuire. That's what he said straight up. What constitutes a successful season? It's be in Arlington at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I mean it's be there where you're getting a seat at the table, and look, you're one game away from it. One win, literally, I guess 2 points away from it in Fort Worth last year. You win that game in Fort Worth, you're playing in Arlington.
Yeah,
and that's, I mean, you can play the what if game over and over and over, but that what ifs for that one are endless.
And it's time for some of these breaks to fall Texas Tech's way. It really
I think
is.
you have had some in the last few years.
Not the way
not.
You've gotten, and I'm not going to say anything, but I think there's some. It's time for you to get an officiating break. It's time for you to get a lucky bounce fall your way. It's time for some of those things to happen. It's time for your guy to be standing wide open in the end zone with no one within 20 yards of him.
Or like, TCU in your stadium against Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
where it looks like you've upset a top 10 team.
And they throw a Hail Mary, and this guy makes a great.
And you get a good deflection.
Yeah.
And the guy in the back of the end zone is just.
I mean, we had that
that
at Nebraska with Danny Amendola.
Right, but it does not feel like you've had
again.
the luck on your side in a while. This one says, hey, Chris, you're going to ref again in the SEC this year?
Yes.
Heard you say earlier in the year you had an injury that might hamper your return.
I was an April Fool's joke, and I apparently got everybody. I am going to work the SEC this year.
They did go on to say, I hope you get to ref again for 25 weeks. Enjoy watching you. You're a great ref.
Well, thank you. And I will get 11 games for sure, and I'm hoping for a 12th, maybe a 13th.
Well, okay, we are
actually a 14th game.
We've got 12 games for sure here in Lubbock. We're hoping for a 13th and a 14th.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. And I have to keep talking about officiating, but
I know.
So the SEC worked the national championship game for the first time since 2004.
That's first non-SEC
that's
national
how
title
dominant the SEC has been. Okay, just FYI, keep that to yourself. Since 2004.
Stick that in your pipe. Yeah, I'm hoping that it is what we want. Texas Tech and Michigan.
I lied to you. It's 2003. The last time the national championship was done by Steve Shaw, who's the guy that hired me in the SEC. It was 2003. I lied to you.
There you go. All right, we were expecting to visit with that guy, Kenny Perry, coming up here in just a little bit. He's a hoot, so you'll want to hang around for this one. We'll visit with him coming up next. This is the bottom line in our coverage of Texas Tech Media Day, presented by Accurate Air, right here on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
And we're back here at Texas Tech Media Day coverage presented by Accurate Air. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. I'm Chois Woodman with Chris Snead, and now glad to be joined by Johncarlos Miller. What we got, the third?
The second.
The second.
Yes,
my
sir.
bad.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So, Johncarlos, you're back here for another season at Texas Tech, but you got a new offensive coordinator. That's kind of one of the big off-season. You also got new people in the tight end room. There's a lot of new to this program.
Yes,
How's that going?
It's going amazing, just having the chance to meet new faces and meet new personalities and things like that, having the chance to compete against somebody new in the tight end room. It's all amazing.
So Johncarlos, talk about what's going to happen. Have you been given any indication about the changes and how much more the tight end is going to be used in this offense?
We used the tight ends a good bit, I feel like, last year. So I feel like we'll be along the same lines as we were last year for sure. We'll just be maybe catching the ball a little more.
So part of tight end is obviously blocking. You'll catch the ball a lot, but you've gone up against that defensive line. We've heard about the vaunted defensive line over and over. Is it as good as advertised?
Oh, yes, sir. Everybody on the defensive line is amazing. Charles, Esters, David Bailey, Lee Hunter, Schuyler, Romello Height, A.J. Holmes. The whole defensive line is loaded. And if I missed anybody, I do apologize.
So let me ask you this question here. Is there anybody that when you're down there with your hand in the dirt, you go, oh, no, not again?
No, sir. Not for me personally, but I do love challenges, and I love seeing all my guys. Iron sharpens iron.
I mean, because I like that, but if I look up there and Bailey's on the other side, right, I'm just going to be like, man, I'm going to sit this one out.
No, sir. I can't fold. I
mean, you said it, iron sharpens iron. That's got to make you guys good for the season, right? Because you're facing – literally one of the best defensive lines in the country in practice every day, so that's got to help you out to get ready for the season.
Yes, sir, it definitely does. I don't know if you guys recently saw this, but we have the most players in the Shrine Bowl watch list.
I did see that.
It's definitely, I mean, I think that should be that's definitely a sign right there. It's just iron sharpens iron. Literally, we're Howard Sampson going against David Bailey, going against Romello Height, going against Lee Hunter. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to see Lee Hunter every Saturday, but they see him every day in practice. Right. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. So
that can't hurt.
Yeah, so you got, 24 guys on that Shrine Bowl preseason watch list. There's only 22 starters on a football team. You got more than your entire starting two sides. That's pretty amazing.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Tight end specifically, you got a new offensive coordinator in Mack Leftwich. First, before we get into the X's and O's part, tell us about Coach Leftwich. What's he like as a coach?
He's a great guy, genuine, funny, in my opinion. I know he likes to keep things nice and, I mean, of course, business-like, but he likes to keep things loose and, fun, because football is fun at the end of the day. So I love that about him. He's a genuine guy.
You got you like him? You ever go and say, hey, how about a little extra for Johncarlos over here?
Oh, yeah.
You got a special wrinkle for me?
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, I definitely tried to get him to give me a few more passes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Anything to get you something in space, maybe? Can you throw the ball a little bit?
Yeah. Hey, I can do it all. You know what I'm saying? If he gives me the chance to show.
A little tight end pass?
Yes, sir. Right. Hey, like Jalen did last year. Jalen threw a touchdown pass to Caleb Douglas last year.
Hey, we got to see the athleticism visiting with Johncarlos Miller here at Texas Tech Media Days, and we got to see the athleticism last year. You dunked it through the goalpost.
Yes, sir.
That was a lot of fun because that was a game where you spread it out, and we were up by quite a bit. So what was said to you on the sideline after that one?
PG. What? Yeah. It can't really. He just know that It won't ever happen again. For sure. Just know that I will not be ducking on the goalpost in college football. At least you can catch me in the NFL.
You can do it in the NFL.
Yeah, you can in the NFL.
So that was a fun moment, though.
Yes, sir, for sure.
That was a fun moment. So, visiting with Johncarlos Miller, one big storyline in the offseason as well is your quarterback, Baron Morton. And, okay, can Baron stay healthy? You look at all the national stuff and all of that. What have you seen from your quarterback this offseason?
Baron is a dog, and that's what I've seen in him since I first gotten here. He's always going to be able to perform, and he's always in the training room keeping his body as healthy as he possibly can, for sure.
So what would you say to the people that are ranking him, 7th, 8th, or 9th best quarterback in the Big 12?
I think they are misled for sure. He's the number 1 quarterback in the Big 12, and he's definitely going to show everybody that this season.
Tell us something about Baron that people wouldn't know, or 2 would be surprised to know.
He can talk to anybody. I feel like maybe you might think that he likes talking to certain types of people or something like that. He makes everybody feel welcome and just amazing, like a quarterback should, for sure.
No doubt.
Nice.
Visiting with Johncarlos Miller. All right, now towards the X's and O's part of Mack Leftwich's offense. What's the biggest change as fans that we'll see with Coach Leftwich's offense compared to Coach Kitley's?
You'll be seeing a lot wider splits for sure, and then a lot more option-based things. So it'll be things like you don't have to strictly run just a slant. You can break it out if you want to, sit it down if you want to, those types of things. So you as a pass catcher get to read the defender in front of you more. Exactly.
And
yes,
and that's predicated on the quarterback reading the defense and seeing the same thing as you are.
Exactly.
And so you guys be on the same page. This could be electric.
And this is why we watch film together, guys. This is why we watch film. We're going to be on the same page.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Spoken like an upperclassman.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about the tight end room. You got Terrence Carter there. He's a new guy. You got some younger guys in the room as well, but you did graduate two older statesmen in Mason Tharp and Jalen Conyers. So what's the tight end room dynamic look like?
It's definitely still extremely fun and, like that, but I feel like we're more athletic than we were last year, just because Terrence Carter is a huge addition for sure. And then I'll be a big, like, we'll both just be playing more, just me and Terrence. Mason was more of like a blocker, and you know what I'm saying? We'll have a lot. Let me take that back. We're more versatile this year.
Okay.
That's a great way to say that.
More versatile this year. We can both block, me and Terrence. It's not one of us that can just strictly block or just strictly catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? So we're just more versatile. From
a standpoint of the way the offense is, you don't one's in the game, they don't know that, hey, he's in the game.
Exactly.
Miller's just blocking that. He's not catching anything. He's just blocking.
Exactly.
So now everyone knows you got to be on your toes for everything.
Exactly.
So do we see any 12 or 13 personnel sets?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You guys get on the field at the same time?
Yes, sir. We
Love
do.
it. Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Visiting with Johncarlos Miller of the Texas Tech football team, tight end. Tell us some other things a little bit about Johncarlos Miller, not football related. What's your favorite spot to eat in Lubbock?
My favorite spot to eat in Lubbock is Las Brisas.
Okay.
I love eating at Las Brisas.
Not a bad choice.
I love like surf and turf. I'm from the East Coast,
Okay.
That kind of thing. So it's just amazing. The hospitality there too. They treat, everybody that comes in there like royalty. So it's just amazing.
Favorite 3 things about Texas Tech?
Favorite 3 things about Texas Tech: Joey McGuire,
Yeah.
the fans, and the Jones.
Yep. There you go. That's 3 pretty good things, right?
Those are pretty good selling points.
So you're an East Coast guy. I was born on the East Coast. I got out to Texas here. I've been here most of my life. What's it like coming from North Carolina, a lot of trees, to West Texas, and how's the adjustment been for you? This is your 3rd year here?
This is my second year.
Second year here. Second year here.
Yes, sir.
And so you're now making that adjustment to where you on a clear day you can see the back of your head, instead of instead of just being kind of boxed in by the tree. Because that was the first thing I had to adjust. Now I was 8 years old when I had to do it, but what's it been like for you?
It's been, for me, I like looking at a lot of nature and things like that. Fortunately, my apartment is like facing right at a tree, so it's not too bad when I go home. But like just all the dust flying around, that's really it for me because, you know, the trees usually catch the dust and, you know, it's water. It's not usually as dusty and stuff like that. So for me, it's a different type of allergies. It's not as much pollen. It's dust now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you, there's a guy that's been here most of my life now, coming from the East Coast. It gets better. You love it, and I wouldn't live anywhere else, man.
Yes, sir.
I would not live anywhere else.
Sir.
All right, last one for you. Everybody seems to love the video game, the college football video game. What's your rating on the video game, and what should it be?
My rating on the video game is an 82, and it should be an 85.
85. Okay.
But it's going to be a 90 at the end of the year for sure.
Okay, so it's going to get the boost.
It's going to be over 90 for sure.
Well, Johncarlos, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Great stuff. More of Texas Tech Media Day coverage here on 100.7 The Score coming up.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
On 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Alongside Chris Snead, I'm Chois Woodman. This is the Texas Tech Media Day coverage presented by Accurate Air, and we are glad to be joined by Kenny Perry of the Texas Tech football team. KP, how we doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I can't complain one bit. This is obviously for the last 34 years of my life. I look forward to this time of year. Exciting, you know. I can't wait to get started every year. So this is just another year under my belt.
Now, Coach McGuire always talks about coaching with his best friend. Is it reciprocated, or is it just a one-sided friendship there?
It's one-sided. That's the way he thinks. I don't think the same way. No, that dude, we've had a lot of fun together. It's obviously, you know, not very many. I tell everybody all the time, it's you know, people say, oh, don't work with your friends. Man, it's been awesome for him and I because we're too competitive, you know.
Yeah.
So we yell at each other. We do everything that we have to but our main focus, you know, obviously coaching is to win for our fans and our players.
You asked. That was a question I was going to ask. As best friends, how much do y'all get into it? I mean, because like me and my best friend, we will yell at each other. We'll dog cuss each other, and you know. But you guys are on the sideline.
We've been yelling and cussing each other for 24 years, so it ain't like it's something new that just started like last week. So
yeah, I think I remember a moment that got caught on TV on the sideline last year that people kind of blew up.
Yeah, no, honestly, I wasn't proud of that. I mean, that's not something that I mean. He's the head coach at the end of the day, and I'm going to do what he wants to do. I just think it's, you know, we both want to win. I mean, I think everybody, that's part of it. Best friends, not friends, whatever it is, we want to win, and situations happen. You know, it's just like in families. It's one thing we always talk about in this profession. Families argue and fight, and
absolutely,
you hug and make up and move on. That's me and him we've moved on quite a bit.
Y'all moved on with a lot of new this year. A lot of new players, a lot of new faces. A little bit different this approach. Y'all hit the transfer portal pretty hard this season, but the talent speaks for itself. What should fans expect to see at the Joneses this year?
I think that across the board, you know, I think in the years past, it always felt like for me as a coach that, you know, I had my fingers, you know, in trying to plug different holes, and then another leak would spring, and you'd have to try to plug that. You know, the good thing this year is I think you don't have to worry about that. You're going to have to. We got guys. If someone's hurt, there's going to be another guy to replace them with. That's, you know, pretty close to as good.
Yeah.
So let's break it down here. I'm going to ask this Chuck Hines questions here. He's not on the show. You weren't on the show with him this morning, but Chuck's always asked about the kickers and the punters. So we've got an NIL kicker. Yeah. So let's just tell them what's the punter and kicker game looking like this fall.
You know, we've been blessed, honestly. I think since I've been here, we've won games with our specialists, and we've been, you know, we've had probably one of the best punters in the Big 12 history. You know, and the kickers we've had have really come through for us. And I think, you know, the thing that's tough out here is anytime, you know, those guys get here, it's no different. Those guys struggle when you know, the first of the year. So we put a lot of pressure on them. They know that we're not going backwards in how I train these guys. I tell them, you know, I'm gonna mentally challenge them every day. Sure. Coach does that in practice. So, you know, I think they're going to, you know, Upton obviously he's kicked in a lot of football games. And last year he was one of the best in the country.
Right.
Jack has got to get better this year. He was kind of transitioned from rugby to traditional, and he was a weapon. After about the fourth game, he calmed down. He got used to playing here. So I think he's going to be, really a lot better. For the punter, you're looking at probably 3 to 4 yards better a punt was what you want. And then our snappers are both really good. I think Rylan Vagana's good, and Jason Llewellyn, you could see him snapping at the next level. So we've got all the, and then we went out and signed, Ian from Arizona State, which he kicked a lot of games last year. Yeah. So we needed him though, just because we had one punter. Barron can punt. So we didn't want to have to use Barron either, but he's right. I could kick Barron too. He's that athletic. So we've got the the tools there. It's just once again you're going to go through these. I think these guys are going to go through some growing pains early, but at the end of when it's all said and done, I think we'll look back on it and go, yeah, these guys are just what we thought there would be.
Now, this time last year, you were sitting here telling us that you didn't know if you had anybody that could make a kick, and then what would we have 2 missed field goals the whole year last year?
We've done it every year. I kind of downplay everything, but we did. We had 2 guys that I said, hey, I'm one of those guys they got to win it, and both those guys were right at 88, 89% going into after fall camp. So, hey, I just told them when somebody misses, the other one takes advantage, and that's exactly what happened with Gino. And Gino got hot, and Reese had a lot of good kicks too. Reese was a heck of a kickoff guy for us.
Yeah.
So we got Stone Harrington this year. Right. That after Reese got hurt, Stone filled in, and I think you'll turn around and see Stone leading the country in touchbacks. To be honest with you,
we're talking with Kenny Perry here. Kenny, tell us one guy that you don't think enough people are talking about right now.
What if I give you 2?
How about that?
Well, I think you guys, what Jacoby Williams was last year as he was a spot running back because we had Taj and, him and Cam shared time, Dickey. I think when I put him back there full throttle return, you're going to see one of the most electric players in the country.
We got to see that some last year.
Yeah, he is electric. And, there's so many times where he was so close. Yeah. But, we've been training him to return punts also. So I think the more that we can get the ball in his hands, you're going to see a very electric player. Okay. And then, the guy that I just love, kind of your every – John Curry is one of those dudes for me that every special team, that dude's solid. I think he's going to play probably a bigger role on defense, but he's still going to play a huge role for me. So I like where he's at. There's other guys, but I'm just telling you, those 2 guys, from the, the 4 core with John, and then from the – exciting element of what Jacoby can do on every play. I'm really excited to see what he does. And then we got Micah back. Micah's been this summer he's done a good job returning catching balls, returning kicks. So we're going to put him back there some too because he did it last year. I wish we could have used him. This year, he's ready to go. So once we get him fired up, I think we've there's going to be others, but those 2 definitely can do something with the ball in their hands.
That's such a different situation. Everything's different with the transfer portal and Micah Hudson and his return. I obviously everything has to be pretty mended there to have him back. But what's it like what's he like back in the locker room?
Once again, he's here again. He's earning kind of what he's kind of back into earning his role, and from what he showed me, I've been here all summer. He's been working. He's, I think he's no different than anybody else. That's the one thing about this team. I think what Coach McGuire does is, whatever we're going to play the guys. I mean, that's the thing that's going to be different. You're going to have guys that are going to be banged up, but that the Wally Pipp story comes to play every year. And I'm one of my first or second days in camp. I'll let everybody know who Wally Pipp was. And guess what? You got guys that if you get hurt, you get banged up, and you're not practicing. There's going to be someone take someone's job out here, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, no doubt. Visiting with Kenny Perry. All right, Kenny, tell us something about Coach McGuire being his best friend that people may not know that would surprise them. That he's okay with you sharing.
Well, he's actually a cigar connoisseur.
Okay.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah, if like for me, I can say, hey, let's go out and grab a beer or something like that. Or if I'll call him, it could be 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Yeah. And he'll say, hey, I'm still in my pajamas smoking a cigar. So I'm just telling you, that's his kind of his vice, just to kind of relax. but he's gotten really, he's gotten good with the cigars. His cigar game's pretty impressive.
I got something for him here.
Yeah, that's
actually.
good. But that's what his deal is. And I think everybody has something.
That's cool.
But yeah, he's got a cigar vice and his PJs. I couldn't tell you exactly. I don't go over and look to see what PJs he's wearing, but he does like a good pair of pajamas and smoking cigars.
That sounds like a Mike Leach type of story there.
There's some similarities.
The cigar thing. That's the pajama thing.
Yeah, that's what he's not only relaxed, he's totally relaxed.
Yeah, evidently.
All right, I know you have the company line of whatever the next game on the schedule is, but you actually have one circled that you're looking forward to the most this year.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, you guys know me. I kind of say what's on my sleeve.
Yeah, you do.
Oklahoma State and Kansas State have pretty much owned us, just to be honest.
Yeah.
And so last year I told those guys, you know what? We got another chance to get one of those demons off of us, which we did in Oklahoma State. So I'm going to go ahead and say Kansas State. They've found a way to big boy us. They push us around. And I think that this program is, in year 4, we've got to that point where now we're able to play people on the road and not care who we're playing. So I'm kind of excited about that one.
As a long-time Red Raider fan, I would have no problem with you going up there and just
it'd be nice
showing them what for in Manhattan this year.
Yep. We've got the team to do it.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, Coach, great stuff as usual. Can't wait till the season starts.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Appreciate what y'all do for us.
No doubt. That's Kenny Perry of the Texas Tech football team. We'll continue with more coverage at Texas Tech Media Days coming up on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to Jones Stadium. Our coverage of Texas Tech Media Day here on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Presented by Accurate Air. Chois Woodman, Jamie Lent with you from the stadium, and now glad to be joined for the first time on this program by Coach Mack Leftwich. And I gotta tell you, Coach, talking to you a little bit ago, it made me feel old. I think this is the first time I've spoken with a coordinator that is younger than me, and it is significantly 30 years old. You're in the wonderkind category, right? You've been doing this for a while, and
I don't know if I would say wonder kid, but I might only be 30 years old, but I feel like I've been around the game a long time. My dad was a coach, and so I grew up. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, and so hopefully maybe a little bit more seasoned than my years might say.
But you're here because of the reputation, and obviously there's Cam Ward in your past. That's one thing that has been well documented. But what is it that attracted you to Texas Tech?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, when I was going kind of through this interview process and had a couple different options, just getting to meet with Coach McGuire and Coach Blanchard, and seeing the kind of their vision for the program and the plan that they had in place and kind of where they were at. I think Coach McGuire is one of the best head coaches in the country. I think he does a great job with the culture of this program and bringing in the right people, and so that was very attractive to me. And then also, just being a Texas guy, I grew up in Denton. I've coached my whole career here, been in San Antonio at Incarnate Word for 5 years, and then at Texas State the last 2. So, my parents are close, and I've got 2 little kids. So just being able to stay in the state, and it just feels like home. And I think everybody here in Lubbock has done a phenomenal job of welcoming, me and my family, and, made us feel at home really quickly. Sure.
I'm not sure how many times you were out here before you came out for the interview process, but when you saw the campus, the facilities, all that, were you wowed by what we have here?
Yeah, so I didn't get to see the campus. The only time I'd been here prior was actually in 2015 when I was playing at UTEP. I started a game out here.
Okay.
Yeah, me and I was the starting quarterback for UTEP, and Patrick Mahomes was the starting quarterback for Tech. So we definitely had the talent advantage that day. But no, the facilities were unbelievable. You know, I ended up flying in pretty late that night, and so got in, and Coach gave me the full tour, and you know, you're walking around this place, and you're like, man, is this going to end? You know, I think it took two hours for the tour, and so you know, every piece of this thing is so well thought out, and you know, really unbelievable. So it's fortunate this building and being here at Tech. You know, I walk in my office every day, and I'm just really thankful and glad to be here.
So you had a pretty good running back next to you in that game, if I remember correct, right?
Yeah, Aaron Jones, he was pretty special. Our offense was rolling pretty well that day, and then once he went down in the second quarter, it went downhill quick. It got ugly.
Yeah. So visiting with Mack Leftwich, Mack, one thing we've heard from a number of players, Coach McGuire, is that we're going to see more deep shots this year in your offense. Explain that for us.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think, you know, if you look over the course of college football the last, 10, 15 years, I think the best offenses are the ones that can create explosive plays. And so, we want to be aggressive in everything that we do, and so, that carries over to the pass game. And that's not necessarily even really me just calling, all these down the field like, hey, we're taking a shot this play and we're going to throw this as far as it can. Our offense, a lot of what we do in the pass game, our receivers are reading the coverage. Right. And so I'm calling a pass play that is really very safe for me to call, because if the defense isn't presenting us the opportunity to go down the field, our receivers have route conversions in there that will, attack space underneath. And so, I can call a pretty simple play, a day one play for us. And, if the defense presents an opportunity, we're able to run by somebody, it could turn into a big play. So we believe in that. We believe in, always putting pressure on guys and being able to throw the ball down the field. And I think, too, personnel-wise, I think that's what I'm most excited about is the guys that we had here, and then the guys that we brought in, I think really fit what we want to do, offensively. I think we have some big play receivers out there. We've got real speed on the edge and guys that can make plays down the field. So excited about that.
It feels like in years past you've been able to use the quarterback as a weapon as well with his legs, not just his arms. What are your thoughts with Baron Morton and the quarterbacks that you have here being able to do that?
Yeah, I think, I think Baron will be able – last year he was a little bit more confined in the pocket. Obviously, he was dealing with his shoulder injury all season, and I think that kind of affected his play style, quite a bit. But I think, he's really an athletic kid. He's not a burner, he's not a 4-3 kid, but he can move around and extend plays and make plays. So I think you'll see a little bit more of that, out of his game this season, and then we'll do some things where we try to maybe get Will Hammond out there, Barron and Will out there at the same time, and utilize Will's athleticism, or even we got some guys who played high school quarterbacks with some Wildcat stuff so we'll be creative in how we use those guys, but also I don't want our quarterback out there carrying the ball 20 times, right? It'll be very situational and kind of pick and choose when we use that guy in the run game.
So one thing that is always a big topic, and the game's won in the trenches many times, is the offensive line. And how do you feel about those guys up front? Do you have a pretty good idea of who is slotted where going into the fall, or is it still fairly open in some spots?
Yeah, I mean, kind of both, probably, to answer your question. We feel pretty confident in 3 out of the 5 spots that we've got guys that we have started games that are bona fide really good players, and then in the other 2 spots we've got a great competition at left guard, and then we'll have some competition at right tackle. Kind of a rotation of 3 or 4 different guys competing for those spots, which I think is good as you go into fall camp. If you sit there and you're looking at it, you got all 11 guys out there and there's no competition anywhere. I don't think that's probably a great testament to your depth. And so we've got guys that are going to be competing for playing time, because we have 8 or 9 offensive linemen that we feel good about putting into the game, which is a great feeling for me, knowing that we're not 1 injury away from the whole line unraveling. So I think we've done a great job, and Coach McGuire or Coach Clay, we got so many Coach McGuires. You got 3 of them. I know, yeah. So Clay does a great job with that group and developing that young talent, and so with that, the young guys kind of growing up, and then some of the transfers we brought in, we feel like we got great depth and great competition in that room.
You've added guys through the portal at the wide receiver position, at the running back position, a tight end, and you had some good guys coming back. How excited are you about all those different weapons that you have to use? Yeah,
extremely excited. I think we sit in there in the offensive staff room, and as we're putting together the offense, you're always looking at how you can get different guys the ball, and you got all these weapons, man, how do we get Jacoby Williams involved? How do we get Cam Dickey involved? How do we get Terrence Carter and Johncarlos Miller and our 6 receivers that we see playing this year? And so, you sit there and it can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but then you kind of think back. You're like, man, I'd rather have this problem than be sitting here right now looking at me like, man, I don't know if we have anybody that can make any plays. So we're in a great spot. We feel great about the offense, great about the talent that we brought in, the talent that was already on the roster. So feel like we got guys that can make plays, and we'll be able to feature a bunch of different guys this season, which is exciting.
So flip it over to the other side of the ball. Your offense has been going up against a defense that's getting a lot of preseason attention. Do they live up to the hype?
Yes, they do. I've been telling people all off season, I can't wait for when we get to go to Arkansas Pine, or when we play Arkansas Pine Bluff, and I get to see somebody else try to block our defensive line.
Right.
I'll be a very happy man. So those guys, they're the real deal. And they make our life hard, which is good. It's kind of an iron sharpens iron thing. So I think it's forced our guys to kind of raise their level of preparation, their level of play and practice, which is good for the whole team. So I'm excited to see those guys cut it loose and get after the passer a little bit against somebody else's quarterback.
Someone else.
One of the things that Chois and I noticed when we were at Big 12 Media Days talking to the players was it wasn't just that we're hoping to play in the Big 12 championship game, but it was an expectation of competing for a Big 12 championship this year. How do you get that mindset in these players?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of came through the talent acquisition. From the player side, I think the players are smart. They know, they go in the locker room every day, and they look to their left, and they've got a really good player. They look to their right, they've got a really good player. So they know that we're a talented football team. And I think Coach McGuire does such a good job of building those guys up and building the confidence of the team. And so, that is the expectation, but I think what's really important for us, and Coach will hit on this today with the guys and kind of be a theme throughout fall camp, is not letting our goals and our vision be so set on hey, we got to go win a Big 12 championship, or we got to do this and that, 12 weeks from now. It's about, being present every day at practice and getting better and really, falling in love and committing to the process of it. So I think if we can do that, we've definitely got the talent to make it to where we want to go.
That being said, what defines a successful season to you?
I mean, we're out there we're gonna go try to win a championship. So, but for us it's being the best offense of the nation. That's the expectation. That's the standard that I have for that group, and I think we have the guys in place to be able to go accomplish that.
Well, Coach, appreciate it. Great stuff, man. We can't wait to see you guys light it up this year.
Awesome, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. That's Mack Leftwich, Texas Tech offensive coordinator, here in our coverage of Texas Tech Media Days. We continue next on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Portion of our Texas Tech Media Day coverage here on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. I'm Chois Woodman with Jamie Lentz, and now glad to be joined for the first time, the maiden voyage with Shiel Wood here on the program. And Coach Wood, it's pretty obvious what attracted Coach McGuire and Texas Tech to you. The track record speaks for itself in terms of defenses and turnaround jobs that you've had with defenses, but start off asking what attracted you to Texas Tech.
I'd heard great things about Coach McGuire. I'd never met him before this process started. I have some friends that know him well and spoke really highly of him. When I got a chance to talk to him and he explained what was going on with the program and the opportunity to come here and have a chance to win a Big 12 championship, working with him, and the culture that he's established here was really exciting, and the community here has been great, and it's been a really tremendous move for our family. Excited to be here.
Obviously, coaches like to win, but I think many coaches like challenges too. And the Red Raider defense last year struggled. There's no way to get around it. So obviously, you're accepting a position knowing that you're trying to turn around, a defense that had struggled last year. Is that something that you kind of looked forward to, the opportunity to kind of rebuild this program or defensive program and kind of see what you could do with it?
I think that being a part of building something is fun for sure. But for me, I think every year I look at it as just, hey, it doesn't matter where you coach. It's a challenge every week. And the whole calendar year is a challenge to be the best you can in the winter, to be the best you can in the spring, to be the best you can in the summer, to be the best you can in preseason camp. And then, you've got a 12-game regular season schedule. There's great coaches everywhere. There's great players everywhere. So whether you're at Texas Tech or another institution, each year there's going to be challenges. It's a game of inches. And so trying to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, that's the challenge, getting the staff on the same page, getting the players to buy into the things you're trying to emphasize and get them to do at a high level from an execution standpoint. And so it's just coaching college football is fun. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It's where your feet are now, and every day you go to work and you got to do the dead level best that you can because there's going to be tough times ahead, and you got to be prepared to weather the storm and come out on top from an execution standpoint.
You said there's great players everywhere, but you seem to have a whole lot of great players on your roster, and in particular, your defense. College football is different than it's ever been. You can compile a roster like you have this year. And tell us about working with this group, and have you ever been around a unit that's this talented all around?
I have not. This is the most talented defensive roster that I've been a part of coaching. It's exciting because, when you see what some of these guys can do from a skill set standpoint, whether it's in the run game, the passing game, up front, second level, third level, whatever the case may be. So it's definitely exciting to work with the guys that we get to work with. And, it's also, I think as a coach, you feel you want to make sure you do a great job in the role that you're in so that you can give guys that we believe can do some really good things for us. You want to make sure you do the best that you can for them so that you give them a great opportunity to go out and take full advantage of their skill set. And, we definitely are as a staff. I can tell you we're excited to work with these guys. And they've got great attitudes. They've bought in. Their work ethic has been outstanding. Their attention to detail, sense of urgency, all those things, their attitude has been great. So we're definitely excited about starting practice tomorrow.
With so many new players, sometimes maybe it's a little bit difficult to build chemistry. How have you guys been able to try to build this chemistry for your defensive unit?
Coach McGuire has done an outstanding job of establishing a culture here in this building, and it starts with the people. He's brought in some great people on his staff. He's brought and recruited great players with character, work ethic, integrity, intellect, passion for the game. And I think that the guys that we added to our program through the offseason, whether that was high school players that we've added or guys through the transfer mechanism, they have quickly assimilated to, I think, a great foundation from a culture standpoint that Coach McGuire and the staff that was here had already put in place. And so just couldn't be happier with, we're not a finished product. We've got things that, we've got warts and blemishes that we've got to improve on and all those types of things and weaknesses that we need to make our strengths. But excited with where we're at and certainly proud of our players and the approach that they have every day. And I'll just say, again, I think it starts with our leadership with Coach McGuire. He's such a consistent leader for our program, and he's so energetic. He's enthusiastic. He's positive. He's the same guy every day, and he really connects with our players, and I think that makes a tremendous impact in the role that he's in.
Who's a player on your defense that, there's a lot of guys that are getting a lot of attention, but who's one that maybe isn't getting enough attention compared to their talent level?
Maybe a couple guys. The first guy that comes to mind that maybe isn't getting as much attention, by the media or whatever right now, and all that stuff's great for the fans, but we don't really care a whole lot about it. But Romello Height is a guy playing our dog position, transferred in from Georgia Tech mid-year. I think he's had a tremendous offseason, and he maybe doesn't have some of the preseason notoriety that some of the other guys have, but I'm really proud of his development in our system and working with Coach IU at that position, and excited for what he's got the potential to do for us this year.
If you were to describe your coaching style for your defense, how would you describe your defense? What's the style?
I would like us to be known as an attacking style of defense and aggressive to the techniques that we're playing and the situations that we're going through in the ball game. There's different ways that you can attack, but I think that a read and react defense that's able to trigger quickly off of what's happening in front of them and play really, really hard and be known maybe as one of the units in the country. Heck, our goal would be to be the unit that plays harder than anybody else in the country. So, those are some of the things that I think, we'd like to try to instill in our guys. And I think we're, in a good position with where we're sitting today, and we've got work that we've got to do, but we're on our way to hopefully becoming those things.
Visiting with new Texas Tech defensive coordinator Shiel Wood. Coach Wood, when you look at your defense, can you say that one position group is a strength of the defense, or do you feel like that it's equal across the board? How do you feel there?
I think we've got playmakers at every level of the defense. I think we've got guys at every level that have experience making plays in games, from the first level up front to the third level in the back end. So I'm excited about that. As a fan, I think you'll enjoy getting to watch the Red Raiders playing hard on the field and guys, being able to make plays throughout the defense.
Expectations for these players, it feels like, having talked to guys, is for you guys to play in a Big 12 championship game. How do you keep from your guys thinking too much into the future and focusing on the present?
Well, we're going to go have a team meeting tonight, and we want to do a great job in that team meeting. And then when we get position meetings tomorrow, we want to be the best in the country at those position meetings, both as coaches delivering the information and for them sitting in those chairs taking notes and being locked into what we're doing. And we want to go out there and have a better practice than anybody has in the country tomorrow. So I think when you take that approach, be where your feet are at, a process-driven mindset, just do the best you can every day. Knock out all the other stuff that's going on. That's for the fans, which is great for them, but it really doesn't matter. We want to do the best that we can each and every day to be the best in the role that we're in, whether it's coaches or players. And if we do that, then hopefully good things will happen down the road.
Coach Wood, appreciate your time, man, and we can't wait to see your defense get after it this year.
Thanks so much. Wreck 'em.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.